Hey guys, welcome to Muscle Memory. My name's Malcolm. Today I'm talking to Simon Miller, who's a part of the last match. A pro wrestling and rock theater musical is going to be amazing. Simon, how are you, man?
I'm good, thanks, dude. It's very, very weird. I'm sat here in New Jersey. I don't live in America, so I keep questioning what's going on. But I'm having a good time. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. How's New Jersey treating you? A lot of people have different opinions about New Jersey. Some people call it the armpit of America. Other people have different opinions. How's New Jersey treating you?
I'm having a good time. I signed up to a gym. They were very nice to me. We had a chat about wrestling, which is always good as far as I'm concerned. No, I mean, look, I don't know much about. I really don't. I've been to New York 1,000 times. I don't know a lot about New Jersey, but so far, no, I feel quite comfortable. I feel quite happy. I like going to weird new places. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm having a good time.
you picked the weirdest of places. Like you definitely picked it.
Excellent,
Amazing, amazing.
excellent.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see like you a part of this like this theater musical, pro wrestling theater musical, the last match. What can fans expect out of you in a part of this entire shebang?
Well, it's kind of interesting, right? So the concept alone is different because it's like a choreographed wrestling match, right? Like
Yeah,
we all know that wrestling matches are choreographed to a certain extent, whereas this one is a play, but it's theatre and it's acting and it's a musical and it's wrestling. It's really, really cool. And obviously, from my point of view, I guess if any people recognise my stupid bald head, it's because of YouTube and the Whatculture stuff and being a positive force for professional wrestling. Whereas in the last match, obviously, I've been employed or cast, whatever the right word would be, as the bad guy, as Alexander Swagger, arrogant, classic 1980s, over the top, yeah, self-absorbed heel. So it's awesome for me because look, who doesn't want to play that guy?
right.
But again, it kind of ties into the sensibilities of what the last match is, in the sense that sure, doing the wrestling, got all that, thank goodness. But now I get to, fingers crossed, we'll see what happens. We'll wait for some reviews, bust out my acting chops as well, right? Because in my day to day, like I say, I like to be a positive guy, but in this one, I'm just going to be a massive dickhead. So, like,
I'm
so
excited,
it should
man.
be fun.
I'm definitely excited to see this. Like you being a bad guy, I can't see it because like you're such a positive guy, like you already said. Like watching all the What Culture videos, I've been watching. I might age you. I'm sorry by saying this. I've
Oh,
been
you
watching
will,
since
yeah.
I was like had to be like 15 or 16 years old. I'm 24
Yeah,
now.
lots of people say that. I'm getting old. I'm getting
No,
way
no, you're
too
not
old.
old. You're not old. Like, you're just a veteran in the game. Like you're really that guy in wrestling, like YouTube and content creation and whatnot. What got you started in the whole like space of content creation?
Yeah, so it's like I was working in video games. I was doing like magazine stuff, so editing and reviews. But YouTube was just there. It was just I was like, we got to take advantage of this. At the time, like we hadn't even had a PewDiePie. Do you know what I mean? No one had really blown up on YouTube. But I was just so fascinated by the concept of we can just put ourselves on television, for lack of a better term. So I really, really wanted to get involved with it, but I couldn't find anyone that had the same sensibilities. Then obviously a few years went by, blows up. But at that point, people had sort of understood it. So because I was working within video games, I just found a company that they had a website and stuff, and they really wanted to push YouTube. So within that, we were able to create this niche. We had some fun content. A lot of it was wrestling based in the sense we all had characters. And we used to fight and stuff because we were a bunch of idiots. And I love video games, right? I'm super, super passionate about video games, but wrestling was always my number one love. So after a few years of doing it, I was like, I wonder if I could start doing this for wrestling. I started doing it, and then literally about 2 weeks after I started doing it, I saw a tweet from What Culture saying they were hiring. And because I had all these videos, video games, and a few wrestling ones, I was able to go, look, there you go, check that out. And very, very kindly, they gave me a video. Look, it was early 2016, and they gave me a video called 10 Things WWE Wants You to Forget About Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
did well, all right? It did well. People were like, yeah, Roman Reigns, blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
And from there, it was just, it was a bit of a snowball effect, to be honest. You know, I just said yes to everything, kept making content to the point now here we are, and all the worlds are merging together. So yeah, it's a very, very strange, surreal journey, but I do feel very blessed to have been on it.
You're really like that guy, man. Like I have to say it again. Like you are like the pillars of wrestling content creation. I feel like you're like one of those faces of Mount Rushmore kind of deal. Like I feel like even when you came out to WrestleMania, like I saw you in the press box at WrestleMania and whatnot, like you were being stopped by a lot of people. You're taking a lot of photos because you're really famous, man. How do you react to like this like newfound fame in the wrestling space?
Dude, it blows my brain. Like, I do not see myself that way, and not because I'm being like, oh, no. I mean, I just genuinely don't, because I think it's really important to stay grounded and stay humble. Although sometimes you say that. I think people think I want to stay humble. It's like, well, you're not humble, then, oh, you can't say it, but I don't know how else to phrase it. But it's, WrestleMania weekend, especially when we do have like this converging of fans, it's really humbling, dude. Like it's so humbling because I think because it is a job, sometimes you have to get into job mode. And when people come up to you and say, I loved your content, it got me back into wrestling, I really enjoy it, I love the positivity, man, it gives you the bit of extra motivation, it inspires you a little bit. And yeah, I'm amazed that I was amazed the first time somebody asked me for a photo, and I'll be amazed every single time. I don't know who they're showing it to. Show it to their mum, like, look, it's this guy. Who the hell's that? I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. But I do, I feel really privileged to be in this position. And again, I just don't see myself that way. So, when good people like yourself say, oh man, you're like, an OG of YouTube content creation for wrestling, it blows my brain. But it's, it's nice. There's no point in saying otherwise. It's really, really nice. And you don't really get Christmas bonuses in the YouTube game. So that's why I always treat my Christmas bonus. It's just people rubbing my ego and I can go home with a big smile on my face. It's pretty cool.
It's amazing, man. And like now you're a pro wrestler. I mean, you're wrestling everywhere. You compete in TNA, you're in Progress, you were competing during WrestleMania weekend. How do you see yourself like progressing right now as a pro wrestler from the beginning stages where you're just documenting your training to now where you're like booked on WrestleMania weekend?
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely found who I am as a pro wrestler, which sounds incredibly cheesy, but that is like a journey,
I
in these terms, but a journey. But yeah, it's a journey you go on. So, and I won't name names because I don't know if they want me to name names, but it's people that have been at the top of the game just coming to me and say, a classic, right? Simon, you're doing too much. You can dial this right down. Like, I mean this in a completely observatory way. In terms of UK indie scene, I'm on the bigger end just because there's a lot of smaller agile guys, which is great. So people are like, man, just run through people, just smash people, be that guy. And then it's cool when you come out to the States because you've got to change it a little bit because by and large the guys are a bit bigger out here. So, but it's yeah, there was certainly a time where, especially given the direction wrestling has gone in, you're like, well, do I have to be the flippy dippy doodah guy? Do I have to do this guy? But actually, no, it's the same as anything. It's the same as when I was making videos. I'm sure it'd be the same when I do more acting and stuff. Eventually, you just sort of get comfortable with something inside here. And when you embrace that, it doesn't become easier. It just makes more sense. So yeah, now I'm doing the things that I enjoy. I'm making sure that less is more, all this dumb stuff. But again, that just comes from repetitions and talking to people that have been at the very, very top. So yeah, I'd say probably now I've got to that phase I did with my videos where I know I can do a video and I know what I should lean upon. It's the same with the wrestling. It's like, this is your wheelhouse. So as long as you stick within this area, you should be able to offer something to an audience. And hopefully that has worked. Hence why, I'm very, very lucky to be getting all these bookings everywhere.
For sure, for sure. If someone hasn't watched you wrestle, what's like a wrestler in mind you would like compare your in-ring ability to? Would it be like a Braun Breaker because you guys have like the same build, or maybe a different guy? Like how's like your wrestling style compared to someone that maybe they watch on television every week?
Yeah. I mean, Braun Breaker's definitely better than me. I think I'm completely honest with you. I like the way I like to say it to people is if you're I don't really like getting into this kind of argument, but people understand what I mean. If you're into WWE style wrestling, which is sort of focusing on, and I just want to point out I love all styles of wrestling, but WWE very very story driven, very very character based, very very they focus on selling, right? So you get hit with a clothesline, you sell it, sell it, sell it. My wrestling style is like that, and my goal is to be the greatest 3-star wrestler ever of that style. So when you see me, you'll walk away going, oh yeah, Miller, he had a decent match. But hopefully what gets me over the top or sort of really gets you to remember me or makes you, feel good is the character work, the promos, maybe something I'll do in a match that's a little bit goofy, obviously, because I like that kind of stuff too. So, I like to make my in-ring work as solid as possible. And yeah, I suppose if you went to a Progress show, for example, my match would stand out, not because it's the best, because you go, okay, I see what he's doing here. He's kind of leaning the other way. But then, yeah, hopefully it becomes a unique experience because I like to bring my YouTube stuff into my promos and my character work. So that's kind of how I see it. But it was a conscious choice as well because, I used to watch Progress all the time. And look, they are phenomenal guys. I can't do what they do. But again, it ties into this other mindset. I just said it. I can't do what they do. Okay, well, let me bring what I can do. And I think that's kind of work now because you get a more balanced show. So that's kind of my game. But yeah, you're going to see a lot of shoulder tackles, a lot of suplexes, a lot of slams, spears, obviously, because that's what people want. Exactly. So that's what I give them. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, man. I love to see that. As far as like your wrestling right now, like you compete in TNA, you do stuff in Progress and whatnot. Is your goal, because you're also so busy with What Culture and the last match and everything going on in your life, is your goal to be signed to a wrestling company or is just to see how far you can get with it?
I mean, if a contract turned up tomorrow, of course I would take it. But that kind of ties into the last match because I didn't have that on my radar. But to me, an opportunity comes up and you just take it. You say yes and you figure it out. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. Like again, I'm here in this Airbnb. I spent my morning making what culture videos, right? Because everyone was like, "Oh, you're just going to stop doing the videos?" No, 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 no. We add, we add. We don't take away. We add. So look, if I was lucky enough to get offered, I would just do it. I would presume if I did, other stuff would have to go away because they're all-encompassing beasts. But that is kind of like pie in the sky stuff. So in terms of just the day to day, I want to get better. I want to have fun. And hopefully opportunities like this one, the last match, keep coming along because then it all kind of feels like it's building somewhere. And I think overall that's my main focus is just make sure we always feel like we're headed in the right direction. I don't know where the end journey is,
Yeah.
but again, at the start of the year, I didn't think I'd be hanging out in America for 6 weeks. So you just don't know, and that's the coolest thing to me. That's what I like about it the most.
Before we circle back to the last match, who are five people that you want to wrestle that you haven't wrestled yet?
Realistically or unrealistically.
Both. Both.
Well, unrealistically, it would be Miro, Roman Reigns, Kenny Omega, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton. Bam, right
I
there.
think Miro's
Maybe
actually
those
more
five.
possible than you think it is. I think that's
Well,
what
maybe,
can actually happen.
maybe it is. He's like my pseudo friend, kind of, but not really. But that's how I like to say it. But otherwise, I mean, in terms of people that are sort of traveling the independents right now, Jack Cartwheel, I would love to wrestle because that guy, he not only is he really good, but he gets the goofy stuff as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Like he does some really funny stuff. So I Danhausen would be in there too because again, I think we could have a laugh right there. Orange Cassidy, we see, maybe Danhausen and Orange Cassidy a little bit harder because they're signed to AEW, but they still do indies, you see. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
I can get in there. Otherwise, guy used to be in WWE, Big Damo, Killian Dane as he was in WWE. Like he's back on, he's doing everywhere now. And again, he has helped me so much. And I think getting in the ring with him would be amazing because again, he's so smart and he just being under the learning tree. And as for the fifth guy, who would be awesome to face? There's got to be somebody that would be the man. I mean,
Could I pitch someone to you?
yeah, please do. Yeah, I can't think of a
So
fifth.
I feel like it would be amazing because it's like two YouTubers combining that are also pro wrestlers. So you versus Chris Danger, maybe in a
Do you know
DQ
what?
ring.
That would be a good one because he fought Sean Spears in the end, didn't he? Because
He
Adam Cole
did.
got injured. It was Sean Spears, yeah, and he
Yeah.
did a really really good job. So no, I would love that. Yeah, and I've been a fan of Chris's
100%.
for ages too. So if we can make that happen, we should. I would love that. That is the fifth guy. You're right.
Oh
That
yeah,
should be the fifth
we're
guy.
gonna tag him in this. Yeah, we'll make it happen for sure. We can
Oh
make
yeah, man. Let's do it. Let's do
it.
it.
As we circle back to the last match, what kind of acting ability do you have going into this? Is this kind of like you're just thrown into? You're like, oh my gosh, let me just figure it out as I go, or have you already like started taking acting classes and whatnot to maybe be not be ready, but to have some background before doing this role?
No, yeah, totally. So during the pandemic, when the world shut down and we weren't able to wrestle, I was like, well, what would I like to do that maybe I haven't done? So
Yeah.
when the world opens up again, I can. I like ticking boxes, right? I don't care where it goes, but I like ticking boxes. So yeah, I mean, literally, as soon as the world opened up again, and wrestling was a little bit after that, I just signed up for an acting class, and I went down. It was a weekend thing, and I really enjoyed it, so I signed up for the advanced class, and that was like what 2021 or whatever it was, and from there, you know, it just kind of snowballed. So I kept going to acting classes. I then auditioned and got into an acting school. I did that for a couple of years. Through that, I then started applying for roles, and I got an agent. And shout out to Nina. She's helped me so much. So yeah, I've been auditioning for stuff for the past couple of years, and I've had a few bits and bobs like bald guy in the background, the occasional advert here and there. But no, in terms of actually getting to hopefully showcase what I've got, this is the initial thing. But again, it's one of those crazy things because I was introduced to Jeremiah, who is sort of the brains behind this operation, through a mutual friend. And it was just her saying, my name just came up randomly because he liked the What Culture work. And it was her randomly saying, oh no, he does acting stuff now. And she showed him my show reel, which is out there. And when I think it clicked in his head, and he was like, oh wait, he wrestles. We need a bad guy. He does character work. And I guess he liked my show reel, which is very kind of him. So yeah, it actually all came together. But still, we're a week into rehearsals now, and it's a brand new experience for me. It's very, very intense, very, very long hours. So I suppose in many ways, this could be the perfect project for someone like me because a lot of the rehearsals is the wrestling stuff. Well, I feel confident with that because I've done it. And then you get to merge it with the acting stuff. So it's a bit like a gateway drug. But no, thankfully, I am able to use some of the lessons I have had to sort of apply it to the character. And they'll use words and terms, and I know what they mean. I'm not sitting there going, "Oh yeah, I know what I am." So it's actually, it kind of feels like a nice step, given what I did do a few years ago. But now I'm a little bit more prepared than maybe I should have been. But I'll take it.
Amazing, man. As we start to wrap this up, I feel like I want to keep asking this question for anyone that's part of the last match. Obviously, there's a lot of retirement matches in pro wrestling. People go, they come back and whatnot. What was your favorite last match of a pro wrestler?
That's a great question. What a guys, that's a superb question. That is. It's so hard because what I will do is I will say someone, they'll sneak back in, right? Because I would say like Mick Foley in the Hell in a Cell match with Triple H, but no, he sneaks back in. He has his WrestleMania match. Then he's in TNA for ages, and Backlash comes after that with Randy Orton as well. So like, there's loads that he's done. I mean, Terry Funk could pull about 32 out, and I enjoyed every single one of them. And this is recency bias because of course it is, but because I totally believe that he is done. AEW Revolution and the last match for Sting. I mean, I think because I don't understand how anyone could have done it better. I don't care what three initials are above the marquee. It was, even if you had never ever seen Steve Borden wrestle, you could watch that show and understand the legacy, understand the respect, understand the skill, understand what he's done for professional wrestling. And even though it was a crazy tag match with Darby Allin trying to kill himself, I genuinely felt emotional during that, as silly as it may sound. Like I just felt it, right? Just like, holy crap, Sting
Yeah.
Sting is retiring, and I think that's one of the best things that AEW has done. And there's a bunch of legends that I do hope head that way, and I hope they get the same treatment as Sting because that is the way. It's so rare for someone to win a match on their way out, and universally every fan be like, "Damn right, he won the way out." Imagine he had lost, we'd be so mad, and that hasn't always been the way. So I mean, I think even if you did go back in time, you'd probably be hard pressed to find a better one than
Mhm.
that. Because I mean, like even something like Ric Flair's last match, I
I was
have
going
no
to say
problem
that.
with him.
Yeah.
Well, I have no problem with him doing it, right? Because if I'm a 75-year-old man, and I want to wrestle.
Yeah.
Everyone else can flub off, right? I'm wrestling, and you don't get to say it. But as a human being watching it, I've never been so scared in my entire life. So it's kind of like this back and forth. Whereas the Sting one just felt, it was perfect. There's nothing I would have changed about that. So yeah, I think that has to be up there. I suppose in many ways, I don't know if they are doing this. I'm going to talk to them next week now. We should be taking elements of that into
Ooh.
this production because
Ooh.
again, the idea of the piece is to have an emotional response and to enjoy the wrestling. And I think that's one of the best examples of it. So if they're not, they should be. I'm going to talk. I'm going to see what they say.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ric Flair. I mean, I went to it, and
Did
man,
you?
the way I was scared the entire night, just thinking about what could happen, and then watching the actual match, terrified every second. Then he did the whole heart spot. I was like, oh my God, he's actually dying. I don't like this anymore. I'm scared.
No, no,
Came back and won. I was like, this was terrible in the best way possible.
no. But that's right, right? Sometimes he is okay, as
Yeah.
we know.
Okay.
So sometimes terrible wrestling is good wrestling. I don't care what anybody said. I would rather have a match that was 1 out of 10 bad than a
Yeah.
5 out of 10. Screw 5 out of 10s. I don't need 5 out of 10s. Give me a 1 out of 10 any day of the week. They make me laugh and they're fun. And again, I really like to stress this because I think it happened with The Undertaker a lot as well. With
Yeah.
people going, oh, he should retire, he should retire. No, he shouldn't. He should do whatever he wants. If he wants to take that legacy and ruin it, good for him. I can't stand it because one day we're all going to be that age.
Yeah.
That's like, one day I'm sure I'll be totally senile and I won't be able to make YouTube videos anymore. I'll decide when I stop making them. I just think sometimes we forget that we're all going to end up in the same place, and they're not doing it because they're doing it because they want to do it, right? They want to do it, and that sometimes I don't want anyone to get hurt, and I think other people have to think about other people's health sometimes. But yeah, I think you can do that legacy whatever you choose to do. And I know how addictive wrestling is, so I understand how hard it is to step away. So yeah, if everybody wants to run their careers into the ground, let's go. Let's do it.
I can't that's hilarious, man. But Simon, you've been very gracious with your time. I greatly appreciate it. Where can they find you on social media if they're not already following you? But I'm sure they already are.
Well, depressingly, you can find me at Simon the 316. No, I would not call myself Simon the 316 if I had known what the future held. I didn't. I was working in video games and I just thought it was going to be fun. But if you find me there on social media, otherwise, obviously, What Culture Wrestling or Up Those Down. Simon Miller as well is my own YouTube channel. And yeah, if you just search for my name, I usually come up. And I really enjoyed this, dude. Thanks for having me on. I know I've been trying to organise this for ages, but yeah, like you bring positivity to stuff, and I enjoy that. So I'm glad I was able to come on.
Wow, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. And guys, you can watch Simon Miller and so many other people a part of the last match. It's gonna be an incredible, incredible tour all up and down the East Coast. If you live on the East Coast, go to it. If you don't live there, fly there or drive there. It's easy.
Yeah,
It only
exactly.
costs a
Yeah.
little bit of money. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. But guys, my name's Malcolm. This is Muscle Memory, and we're out.
We going up like 1,000. I'm a flex just like a muscle man Malcolm. We going up like 1,000. I'm a flex just like a muscle man Malcolm. When it just like 1, 2, 3. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. Hey.